All right, so I finally got my hands on a pair of the Asics NOVABLAST 3, and this is the newer version of the NOVABLAST. Obviously, the second version was right here, but they look very similar. However, they're very different. It's a ground-up build, and the most important change between these two is actually the foam in the midsole. It is upgraded with a much softer foam, the FFBLAST Plus, versus the regular FFBLAST. Small name difference, but a big, huge difference. It is Plus, and it is a lot softer than the previous version. So I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on this guy right here. I also have two other models that I figured I would go ahead and compare to. One has FFBLAST Plus, the other one does not. Any which way, let's go ahead and get into this video right here. My name is Hes. Hope you guys are having a great day out there. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. And if you guys want to buy a pair of these, I will link them over to Asics if you guys would like. They are $140, and I would say that they do fit true to size. Now, I would have liked a wider version, but honestly, they were wide enough that I was totally fine with. I didn't see a wide version available on their site. This is a pretty incredible shoe though for $140. The price point is elevated from the previous versions. I believe there are 120s, 130s, but I will tell you it's 100% worth buying the newer version from the previous version. Sometimes that's not the case. With sneakers, it's really hard sometimes to tell the difference between the previous version and the current model of which is better for the price point. We all know that primarily it's a mesh upper, rubber outsole, and a foam midsole. So you would think there's not too much variation that they could have there to make it more comfortable or whatever else between the different versions. But from the second version to the third version, there's definitely some nice upgrades that they made. So my first impressions, just right out of the box, looking at the shoe, I definitely like the fact that the knit upper feels a little bit more premium than the previous. It doesn't look like an engineered mesh. It looks like more of a knit upper. And then you do have some nice styling points of the shoe with a little bit of rubberized material up through the heel. But obviously the midsole is your main attraction of this shoe. I love the geometric shapes of this, and they definitely changed it up from the previous. It looked really cool in the previous one, but it looks even cooler in my opinion in the third version. Then you go to the outsole and you look, and it's pretty nice as well. And I just like the way it sticks out in the back. This is one of those shoes that almost could have been considered a max cushion shoe. I just did a top 5 max cushion sneakers. I threw this in the description of the video as a runner up because it really is like close competition for a max cushion. But I would say technically it really doesn't fit in the max cushion category in my opinion. I think they do have a couple more from Asics that actually are in that category that I have not tried yet. If you guys have any ideas of what those might be, leave a comment in the comment section. Any which way, it's a really nice cushion sneaker. Definitely a high cushion, but not max in my opinion. Well, let's get into some of the words of what Asics says about the product though. The NOVABLAST 3 running shoe draws inspiration from a geometric origami feature for the upper and midsole. After making this shoe approximately 30 grams lighter than the previous version, we also equipped the style with improved comfort. A tongue wing construction in the upper helps improve the fit while reducing the tongue movement. This component is reinforced with a more supportive heel design to help guide your foot with more control through your gait cycle. Meanwhile, the midsole's FFBLAST Plus cushioning helps create a lighter and more responsive feel underfoot. It has a Jacquard mesh upper. The heel stabilizer helps support the foot and create a more balanced ride. So I didn't know that they actually reduced the weight at all. Honestly, it didn't feel too much lighter, but let's go ahead and weigh them. We have 8.7 ounces for the new ones, and we have 9.9 ounces for the previous, so that is significantly lighter. The Nimbus 24s are 10.8 ounces, and the Quince Blast is 11.5 ounces. Now this is last year's model that has a fresh foam Blast midsole, but not the Blast Plus. And this is the current model of the Gel Nimbus 24s that does have the fresh foam Blast Plus. So this is a model that when I tried these out, I knew that the NOVABLAST 3 was going to be excellent because this had the FFBLAST Plus already and was a little bit smaller stack. And I know that the NOVABLAST is a bigger stack. I believe the price point of these are like $160 or so as well. So there's more expensive shoe, less stack, and a little bit more stability and things going on in here. Great pair as well, but now we have the NOVABLAST 3s. So it's a lighter shoe, more FFBLAST Plus in the midsole, which makes this a pretty incredible pair of sneakers. So out of the 3 predecessors, like this is the most comfortable for sure, in my opinion. From a casual perspective at least, just standing around in these shoes, they really felt great on feet, and really a lot of squish in the midsole in these things. So I also did try these out, went on a couple runs with them, not anything substantial by any means, and I'm a heavier set dude, so my experience is going to be a lot different than probably a lot of people that are much lighter than myself. I found this shoe was really comfortable to run in. However, it's not as snappy as I would say Fuel Cell. I think New Balance Fuel Cell is snappier on feet. Like the Rebel Fuel Cells, even though it's a smaller cushion stack, I felt like there was more bounce back and spring back from those. The Super Comp Trainers comparison to this, like that is definitely in a max cushion category for a reason. And I didn't feel as much in these when I was running as I would have anticipated because they felt really, really soft on feet. That being said, it's an incredible pair of sneakers, but it just lets me know how much competition is really out there in this like super foam market, because some of it is really, really good and some of it is like unbelievable next level. And it's funny how they have the naming convention similarities, like the FFBLAST Plus. FF doesn't stand for fresh foam, it stands for flight foam, I believe. And then New Balance has a fresh foam X line as well. So I could see it being very confusing to consumers of like which is the best and the latest and greatest and stuff. And when you walk around in these things casually, you're going to notice like a huge, amazing amount of squishy feel underfoot. It's a pretty incredible feeling, to be honest. And once again, hands down better than some of their predecessors, as well as like another version of the FFBLAST Plus, which I actually really like that model a lot too. The only thing that I really didn't love about the shoe, if I had to nitpick, is the tongue. I know it has a wing shape or whatever, but it is kind of weird having the void in the middle, for myself at least. I don't love the shape of it. It is kind of nice and lightweight and stretchy enough that it didn't feel like discomfort or anything, but I really wish it was more like the Nimbus 24s instead, because this has like a full knit tongue. This is my favorite tongue probably on a pair of runners. Just it's perfect. It's so stretchy. It's incredible. It's a little bit difficult to get on, but you just pull the tongue and it snaps right in and it's good. This is not uncomfortable once you get it on, but I wish it was kind of like its big brother. The three things I really like about the shoe: one is the collar of the shoe. I really like the extension that they're doing with this style of collar. It's something they did in the previous model a little bit, but they kind of made it a little bit bigger and stick out a little bit more. And it's the same vibe that you get from the Nimbus, as well as the Kinsei on the inside here. I just love the look and the feel of the liner. It's just one of my favorites on the market. Then you have the upper. The Jacquard knit is very nice as well. I like that over the just standard engineered mesh. And then the look and the shape and the feel of that FFBLAST Plus in the midsole, really, really good on feet. Very squishy, very nice. So to go quickly over some of the ratings that I usually go over: sneaker sizing, true to size. Comfort rating, I would give it an 8, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. Like, it's a really, really comfortable shoe. I'd say an 8.5. Wide feet rating, I'd give kind of a 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10. It's not an uncomfortable shoe for somebody like myself that has a little bit of a wider foot, but it doesn't have wider foot options like some of the other stuff. Like the 1080 V12s and the Supercomp trainers and stuff from New Balance does have a wide foot option. I didn't see any for these. Breathability rating, I would say, is actually really good on here too. I was surprised. The Jacquard knit is not bad at all. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10, but I haven't ran like 1,000 miles in the shoes or anything like that. But people that really run in the shoe a lot, maybe it gets a lot hotter. But for me, from casual usage, 8 out of 10 for breathability is pretty good. Foam density rating, I'd give like an 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. It's so incredibly soft and good. You take your fingers and you squish it on the sides, and it's really, really squishy. Because of the stack of height, you don't have the best ground feel, but the stability is actually pretty good in this shoe as well. So the way they engineered the midsole stack is quite good, and definitely decent stability. I'd say probably 7.5 out of 10. I'd say traction rating, I'd give it maybe like a 7 out of 10. It's decent. It doesn't feel like it's gonna last super, super long, to be 100% honest, after running around in these a little bit, but maybe I'm completely wrong. I did notice a little bit of wear already in the foam right here after just a couple runs, but I imagine it's pretty durable. But if you really run it to the ground in the pavement, it will probably be beat up just like any other pair of sneakers. But the traction on the outsole did feel pretty good as well. However, I haven't worn them in the rain, anything outside, so I don't know if that's actually true. But for standard walking around and stuff, it was fine. Aesthetics of the shoe, I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. I really like the look of the midsole. The upper with the Jacquard knit is pretty cool, and I like that they use different colors to kind of bring out different sections of the shoe, but it is primarily just a knit upper. 100% of it like all the way around with a couple fused overlays. So it's hard to really make something really fancy and different out of like an all knit upper, but they did a pretty good job. And considering how light they made these things, it was very smart that they kept it more minimal. But my final thoughts on the Asics NOVABLAST 3, pretty incredible shoe, to be honest. This is going to be one of those top 10, maybe top 5 comfort sneakers of the year for myself. It's really that good. But coming in at $140, it makes it kind of one of the cheaper ones on the list. I mean, it's really like competitive comparison to like the Pegasus 39s and the Rebel Fuel cells. And it comes down to preference at that point of which feeling you like on your feet better, because those are all like $120 to $140. That price range is pretty competitive, and there's a lot of great options for your feet. I'll be trying to do a deep dive in some of those when I do like my top 10 comfort videos of this year, which is going to be coming up soon because the end of the year is coming up in the next 3 months. So I'll work on that video for you guys, but leave a comment. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about these, any other video comparisons. between these you'd like to see, and I will work on that. I think one of the comparisons that I really need to do is between these, maybe the 1080 V12s, and then like the Hoka Clifton 8s, and maybe a couple other ones. If you guys have ones specifically you want to see head to head, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'm planning on doing a video similar to that anyway, so go ahead and drop that. But again, if you guys want to buy a pair, check the link in the description, take you over to Asics site, and thanks for watching. Have a good rest of the day. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, notification bell to be notified of when my videos are posted, and hopefully see you back for some more videos. Peace, guys.